Get this.
Weekday mornings from 9
On Triple M.
Big story we didn't get to this week, Ed.
Yeah.
Madonna and her husband Guy Ritchie have been lobbying the British government and nuclear industry over a magic cleaning solution. They're both, of course, followers of Kabbalah.
Oh, yeah.
And they've come up with the answer, a mystical liquid that they've tested in a Russian lake. And it's going to sort out all of the problems we have.
What does it do?
Well, I don't know. It's magic. Says one official at the British government. It was like a crank call. The scientific mechanisms and principles were just bollocks, basically. So there you go, on the front of the latest Scientific American. Madonna's findings bollocks, say scientists. Results on Guy Ritchie material still pending. More bollocks expected. This is Madonna. I mean, one of the biggest problems that exists right now in the world is nuclear waste. That's something I've been involved in for a while with a group of scientists, finding a way to neutralise radiation.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Where did she find the time?
I don't know. But I'm assuming they're just sitting there at, British government offices going, "Oh, well, thanks, Madonna, but we're really waiting for Prince to call with his findings." Wang Chung's test results haven't come back yet. And I know LaBouche have made some breakthroughs. We're still investigating Duran Duran's claims that the reflex is your chance of finding treasure in the dark. We've got a lot to get to. Listen to this quote from Madonna. I can write the greatest songs and make the most fabulous films.
Wait a second.
And be a fashion icon and conquer the world. But if there isn't a world to conquer, what's the point? Okay, that's fair enough.
That's fair enough.
But the bit about making the most fabulous
I'm not
films.
sure if Swept Away counts, Madonna.
Madonna was not available to comment at the weekend because she is on tour in Germany, like many scientists. Let's climb up a mountain.
What's the topic today?
Well, I get in this morning, Richard. Listen to this. I've got nothing because I've been going through emails. I'm going, Ed, what should the topic be? And without even thinking, he said...
Sweet dress-up parties.
Sweet dress-up parties.
And the word sweet has to be in it?
How does that work?
Well, my friend Paul in Sydney, I spoke to him a little while ago. I said, dude, what's up? He goes, we're having a sweet dress-up party. I said, really? What's the theme? And he said, stranger danger. And I thought, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
And an ex-girlfriend of mine, she had her 21st, and the theme was Vegas wedding, and I went as the white tiger that mauled Siegfried and Roy.
Right? How is that the wedding?
Right. And did the guy who was there as Roy look sort of shifty all night? Giving you a wide berth?
Well, the best costume was one of her uncles who was just in a plain suit and a fez.
Wow. I got married in Las Vegas.
I know.
And on our wedding night, my wife and I were intending to go and see Siegfried and Roy at their own casino. And we went there, and it was like the one day of the year when Siegfried and Roy are dark, as they say in Vegas, means the show's not on, it's dark. And they go, sorry, they're not doing the show tonight. But for a third of the ticket price, you can see the entire show performed by animatronic models of Siegfried and Roy. And they bring out robots and real lions and do the show.
Really?
And we stormed out in disgust. We're going, no, that's cheapening this already tacky wedding.
Right. So, basically...
Yeah, what are we talking about?
What's your favourite... You ever been to a sweet dress-up party, Rich?
I haven't been to many dress-up parties, but I know one friend of mine who misinterpreted one because they said that you're meant to come in your favourite period costume, like, something from your favourite period of history.
Yeah.
And he rolled up dressed as a sailor. He's not very clever. And someone said, what are you dressed as a sailor for? And he said, I'm maritime.
Oh.
And people thought it was a joke, but he's just a moron.
Right. So have you ever had a sweet dress-up party? Shiny, bright and tight. That was a good theme I once went to. A Russian theme I went to as Gorbachev. Had a swimming cap on my head. Painted a birthmark on. Hey? Anyone? So what sweet costume have you worn to a dress-up party?
Yeah.
And or what sweet dress-up party have you been to?
Yeah, that took so long to explain, Ed,
Don't care.
that we do not have time for a song.
I don't care how late
We're going to go straight to the
no.
callers.
Well,
See, while some shows
no.
are rehearsing people from the sales department to pretend to be callers, we are going down the other end of the pool.
Yeah.
We're just taking people at random and putting them to air.
and it's lit up as well. It's
which you're not supposed to do. The legal department say not to do it.
Right, 133353 is the number. Let's get started. Hello, Gavin. How are you?
I'm very well. How's yourself?
Good, sir. Tell me about your sweet dress up.
Well, I used to play in a band, and every single time I played, I tried to dress as something different.
What was the band called? Come on.
Come on.
Phantom Power Wizard Master Smasher.
Oh, that sounds like a drum machine band.
Phantom Power Wizard Master Smasher?
I had no responsibility in the naming, and I hated it.
Oh, that's okay. Come on, what did you go dressed as once?
A few different things. I went as the Easter Bunny, I went as Satan, I went as Santa Claus, and my best one ever was a air conditioning unit.
And did you get switched on?
I only managed to keep it on my head for the first 5 minutes. It stuffed me neck.
Wow.
Brilliant. Thank you, Gavin.
You know what I want to do? I want to get Rick Lindo in here, the truck driver who went up against the young Tina Arena and came second.
Whipped her. No, he whipped her initially.
Oh, yeah, but then he obviously didn't go on to fame and fortune. Now, a truck driver, let's get him in here and put him up front of Phantom Power Wizard's Master Smasher. Rick Lindo and PPWMS.
Now we're talking.
They can play at the TT Tournoi. This is turning into quite an event.
Hello, Chris. How are you?
Hello, Ed. How you going?
Very well, sir. Tell us about your sweet dress-up.
We went to a trivia night at the local school and had to go as nursery rhyme characters. So our table was actually the Wizard of Oz.
Good.
And as usual, all the good ones were taken. So my wife had the brainwave to dress me up as the Yellow Brick Road by putting a yellow sheet on me, drawing bricks down the sheet and painting my head yellow.
Yes! And did people just walk all over you for the whole evening?
Yeah, basically, but I did actually win the best costume.
Yes, touché.
Nobody beats the road!
Thank you, Chris. Hello, Stacey.
We had a dominatrix party.
Oh, yes.
Where you could either come as a dominatrix person or a matrix person.
Right.
And I actually went with a friend as a gimp and its master.
Yes.
A gimp and its master.
And which were you?
Yeah, I was the master.
And how does one dress as a master?
Basically, I just had a lead.
Yeah.
With a black leather jacket on and some sunnies.
Yeah.
And just led my friend around on the lead. She wasn't allowed to walk. She was only allowed to be on all fours.
And was the person playing the gimp kept in a crate all day, like in Pulp Fiction?
No, she actually had one of those, those red ball masks?
Oh, yeah.
Like in Pulp Fiction, we actually went and got one of them.
Because what you have to understand is, it's hard out there for a gimp sitting in a crate all day.
Hustle and Flow reference for anyone baffled by that.
Tom Gleisner, give him a round.
Thank you very much. I've been struck by crime. My wife's mobile phone was stolen on Friday night. You've got this weird instant reaction when you realise your mobile phone's been stolen, and once you've figured it, you haven't just left it somewhere.
Yes.
You assume, well, I'll ring it.
Of course.
You think I'll ring it in the hope that someone's going to be so guilt-stricken as they answer it that they'll agree to drop it back. Or, of course, you're more likely to hear the standard response, "Hello, cash converters." But
and how did you go?
No one answered. We just left several messages to ourselves and realised it was all getting a bit existential.
What ringtone did she have?
She had a Shakira tango music.
Good work. Hang on. My hips don't lie? Or...
No, we're going back. We're going objection tango. Going way back.
Oh, well, when she gets the new phone, tell her to go to the Get This website. We have such a fabulous selection of ringtones to choose from, including...
The girl's happy.
There's the ever-popular...
The yellow-bellied black snake in a barbecue.
Or perhaps...
You are dealing with Dickinson.
That's new.
Your body is a wonderland.
I strongly recommend that one.
Haven't heard it for a while. All right, drop a sandbag on me. Self-famous. No, me plums!
You do that live.
Yeah, I just love saying it.
I assume that was on... I am so impressed.
Yeah.
If you've often wondered why Nikki's just a tad distracted during this program, you don't realise it, guys, but over your head, she's got 9 a.m. with David and Kim on.
Yes,
and what's so distracting about that, Tom?
Is David apparently has a problem, and I think it might be a genuine medical condition, something to do with his hips. He can't keep his legs together.
Oh, dear.
And if you look, you could actually just spend the entire hour staring right into the canyon that is his nether regions.
And they just think, well, obviously we're going to tackle Kerry Ann with rain nads. Rain nads is the answer.
Let's hope Kerry Ann doesn't try and sort of go like tit for tat with this. Well, actually, that's a bad phrase.
Yes.
That's why Nikki's just a tad distracted during this hour.
I'm going to have to refer to your Wikipedia page, I guess, Mr. Marsland.
It's up. The many nicknames of Richard Marsland. We've got Marslow, Marsbar, which he asked me not to call him anymore. Probably fair enough.
Now it's on the internet.
The Marslander, the actor Richard Marsland, Shock Jock Richard Marsland. Ricky M, and then there was one. You had another one for us.
Marslando Calrissian.
That's my favourite. There we
What's
go.
going on? So they're just listening to the show, and Wikipedians are writing down.
Anything you say could end up there. Are you on Wikipedia, Tom?
I think I am. I've got a few links. Who are the gatekeepers at Wikipedia? Like, if you put something totally scurrilous.
Oh,
up.
there's no gatekeepers. It's self-policing.
Regulating.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So there can be totally defamatory
Oh, yeah.
things put up there.
I think there's a bit on our page which says it describes the key phrase at the end of the show, and it says Tony Martin will select a phrase that tickles his funny bone, and people keep changing funny bone to penis. Over the weekend, it was simply love rod, but I'm encouraging it. Why not? We enjoy a bit of love rod tickling. Get this. Ed, someone has emailed in to say, why isn't Ed wearing his brown three-piece corduroy suit in the new bus shelter posters that we're on?
That's because it's not my body.
We're not meant to
You
say
spoiled
that.
it now.
We're meant to keep that under wraps till like the end of the campaign.
Sorry, Tone.
Everything comes out of the bag on this show. That is not our bodies.
Nah.
On those bus shelter posters. It's because they had 4 photo shoots in the first 3 weeks of this show, and we just went, we're not being photographed again. We've run out of expressions. So they took old photos of our heads and stuck them on other people. Who is it? It's Richard Kelly, the producer of Tough Love.
Yep. And Zach from marketing.
And they're doing our bodies.
Oh, that's sad.
Bit of body double work.
Often what happens in these promo shoots is, often at TV stations, everyone hates each other. So they refuse to be in the same photo. Right. So they've basically got to Photoshop everybody in. Yeah, there's no way. And then they get really angry that I'm seen to be standing next to Mike Munro, and you know how I feel about him. So
it's understandable.
The politics, I'm sure, apply to radio just as well.
When are you going to start sporting that suit again? Weren't you called a puff when you wore it in public last, Ed?
Both times.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot more complaints about you, Ed. Someone has written in. Cameron is expressing his disappointment with the lack of planet naming that went on in last week's show. You said we were going to be naming planets. It never seemed to happen.
It wasn't my fault. I put it on as a dovetail for the callers. Might have been confusing. No one rang in. We'll do it again. No worries.
And there's less planets to choose from now. Pluto has been downgraded.
It's been relegated.
Unfair.
It's now a dwarf planet.
A dwarf planet?
So this international body of astronomers gets to decide who can and can't be a planet. They should do the same thing with celebrities, I think.
Good
idea. They should downgrade them. You're now a dwarf celebrity.
Good idea.
Laurie Oakes has been downgraded to a dwarf. No longer a block of gaseous matter. Because I was on Tough Love on Friday and astronomers were calling in about this. And I'm going, well, hang on, Saturn. I don't know, it's something to do with the density. If you picked up the planet Saturn and you found a lake big enough, you could float the entire planet on the lake surface.
That'd be good.
And so I'm asking this guy, well, how is that possible? He goes, because it's made of gas.
So, right.
And then I go, right, so that's a planet made of gas. And then, well, what about Pluto? What's that made out of? Ice and rocks.
Well, surely ice and rock beats gas.
Rock, paper, scissors. Surely rock planet trumps gas planet.
Absolutely.
What would happen if you landed on Saturn? What would you be standing on? Nothing. You'd be just falling into the gas. That's not a planet.
You go straight through.
That's a cloud. It's just a cloud floating in space. And just because it's a big cloud, it gets to be a planet.
Why did Pluto get chopped out?
Not big enough, apparently.
And too far away and just, based on a Disney character. It just had everything working against it.
Ed is working on a brand new segment for tomorrow's show.
It'll cost at least $700 million, but construction won't start until 2011.
Is that right, Ed?
Yeah, best time to start construction. Got to raise the $700 million first.
Actually, that's a children's hospital that Peter Beattie's promising Queenslanders if they vote for him.
Am I in on that?
Oh, yeah, you are now.
Sweet.
All the nurses getting around in brown corduroy suits.
Hey, they're selling some more Telstra shares, the government.
Is that a good
They
idea?
don't go very well, though, do they?
No, they're not doing all that well. I think people who bought them for about $7 last time round, it's currently sitting on about $2.50 worth. But another $8 billion are going out. It was announced in the usual manner, Friday government press release, preceded by Steve Vizard's share trading spree on Thursday. So basically, those were the signals that went out for us all that
to let us know
Telstra shares are there to be had.
On the way.
News straight out of the motherfaxer. People want to know if the Patterson Lakes thing we did with the kids is on one of our podcasts. It isn't, because it's full of that pesky copyright music.
Yeah.
You don't let that stop you, do you?
This is what I'm saying, Tom.
No one polices
No one
that.
polices it.
Just do it.
It's like, growing dope in the country. No one polices
Listen,
that.
your body is a wonderland. Wouldn't that be copyright?
Yeah,
Yeah, but see, that's a cover version, and it's a sound-alike because he hasn't quite stuck to the original
Not
chords.
a sound-alike, Tony. It sounded nothing like. But yes, I take your
some
point.
would say improve.
If it's officially off key, you're allowed. That's a little loophole.
A different key.
Yeah, a different key.
In a different key.
We had the annual meeting where you have to go in and the lawyers address.
See, there you've made them. You've asked. Once you ask permission, you're dead.
Ed was writing notes, and it's a tough love team as well. We're all facing the lawyers, and Ed's writing notes throughout the meeting. Mick Malloy's leaning over, mate, what's this? What, you doing a show with the SWAT, are you? What's going on there? What's he writing down? Turns out Ed was writing a sketch about Richard Marsland water. That's right. Marsland flow. Wrote it during the legal meeting.
Used the time productively.
And Mick was really impressed by that. Oh, mate, you've done well there. You've got him writing sketches during the legal meeting.
That is time management. Nikki, do you remember back in the panel days, once a year we had to have a meeting with the lawyers about defamation, and you'd get into the most ridiculous hypotheticals.
What would be one?
What if I said he once was a Nazi war criminal, but I didn't say he was a pedophile, but I implied that whilst he was the war criminal, that he liked children. And then, the lawyers go, that's interesting.
What episode of the panel was that?
These are hypothetical episodes.
Oh, we had a meeting one day about Martin Malloy album Eat Your Peas, and it was actually ended with everyone screaming at each other, and it was about whether we could use this bit on the album where I had claimed that Glenn Shorrocks' nickname for his penis was the Lonesome Loser. Right? And so I'm yelling at the lawyers. I'm going, yeah, but okay, so he sues us. What is that case going to be like? Imagine how funny that case would be. He'd have to get up and say that he doesn't call it the Lonesome Loser. Wouldn't you want to pay that money just to go to that case, just to be there and see that happen?
No, Mr. Martin, we wouldn't.
No. You were writing a sketch. What do you know?
What is his nickname?
I don't
Hang
know.
on, help is on the way.
I hope he's not listening.
Is this when one of these segments that just kind of goes off topic?
We shouldn't be talking about the Lonesome Loser or the Shorrocks, which are just below the loser. Ryan Shelton is with us. When you got this gig on the Channel 10 on The Real Stories, I mean, do you have any sort of acting training at all?
No, just at high school. At high school, I went to school with Hamish, and we used to do a few plays and get involved in that sort of stuff.
What play did you do? Did you do like plays?
Yeah, like Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are Dead.
Oh, yes.
Cyrano de Bergerac.
Yeah, I'm looking for something embarrassing. Anything else?
Actually, in year 2, I was Scrooge in a Christmas play.
Yeah,
Bar Humbug.
It's all quite good, though.
Yeah, it's pretty good roles, man.
No Run for Your Wife, nothing like that?
No, I was Bill Sykes in Oliver in year 9.
It's all classy.
Quite good, man.
Too classy. So that's almost qualifications right there. Ed Cavalier got this job without any qualifications.
Lying.
Yeah. And people aren't happy about it. Listen to what Philip Ruddock had to say last night.
I know that there was evidence adduced that would allow a person to form a view that training had occurred.
But no, none at all.
Wait a sec. What the hell is he talking about?
He's talking about you.
Oh, he's so brilliantly entertaining. Yeah.
And he's some kind of bird, isn't he? I can't quite pick what kind of bird he is. Is he an eagle?
No.
There's something about his
something
face.
more insidious. He's one of those like a bird that sort of sits and waits for corpses. Vulture, that's them. Yeah.
A vulture.
Yeah.
A vile, poisonous condor gone bad. Something like that.
I'm going for that, yeah.
Okay. It's harder and harder to get into the women's mags, right?
Why? What do you got to do?
Do you know this bloke, Flavio?
Is it? No. Who is
He's this Formula One manager, Flavio
the old guy.
who tends to constantly date models. In fact, I think isn't he the father of Heidi Klum's baby? Possibly one of...
That'll do.
It kind of sounds like, there's like the Hamburglar and stuff. In the French McDonald's, it sounds like a new character, like a new mascot.
Flavio.
For the French McDonald's.
I love how Richard Marsden just nodding when I mention anything to do with Heidi Klum. Right across the whole Klum.
The windswept shock jock, Richard Marsden.
No, I know Flavio's cut his way through quite a number of Brazilian supermodels and is always seen at the catwalks of Milan and what have you.
Yeah.
But he's not very, he's old.
Yeah, he's old.
Yeah.
How
and
old
he's dating, I think, a Wonder Bra model, somebody at the moment.
Yeah.
Now that we've set him up as this lady killer, I'm going to show you the photo that's in the New Weekly this week. Are you ready? Here we go.
Okay.
Bang!
Come on!
Take a look at that.
Come on!
That is an old man with a piece of string around his waist, barely containing his genitalia.
And a black lolly bag to keep it all in place.
He's dating a Wonder Bra model. Get some of the stock off her, buddy, for your tackle.
Gee whiz.
Look at that. See that,
That
Richard?
is
That's hideous.
outrageous.
Is that the kind of gear you wore to attract your incredibly hot girlfriend?
Can you see that he's got a tan line a little bit further up, for a G-string tan line,
Oh!
about 30 centimetres above the lollybag line?
Which means that he's been wearing a G-string and thought, yeah, it's just not small enough. I need a smaller piece to cover up.
The ladies want more.
That is really quite disturbing.
It's good that she's not, with him for his money. That's the nice thing of it. She's in for the lollybag, yo.
I don't want to do Wikipedia vandalism every day, but if you go to your page today, somebody's put up something about claiming you were involved in puppetry of the penis.
Wow, speaking of overexposed.
There you go.
Hey.
And speaking of,
Where is that boing?
more of the same, I'm afraid, as we've mentioned, people keep changing the phrase tickling Martin's funny bone.
Yeah, that was the original.
Yeah.
Tickling Martin's funny bone was what the originally put up.
Then it was penis. Yep. Then it was love rod. And now I think
liked love rod. I was hoping because the word love was in there. Rod seedy, love makes it nice.
It's kind of romantic,
Exactly.
isn't it?
And I went on there last night. I thought, what's it going to be now? And somebody had put, and I quote, spicy hot Bonner.
Oh, Bonner.
Yeah, Bonner.
Yeah.
Tony Bonner.
An important
Tony Bonner.
An important situation to have good spelling, probably.
Anyway, I think it's back to funny bone. It's so expensive, that petrol.
So much.
A lot of people are getting the old LPG installed.
I've noticed this.
I didn't even know what LPG was.
It's a gas of some sort.
I think it's a gas.
Yeah.
Yep.
To find out more, let's cross to Get This's Tony Martin. Thanks, Tony. Well, with the world's oil reserves in decline, skyrocketing petrol prices and a marked increase in politicians promising, quote, relief at the bowser, many Australians are racing to take advantage of the government's $2,000 LPG conversion rebate.
Yeah, we're probably doing about 20, 30 of these conversions a day at the moment.
LPG specialist Rick Lindo of Lindo Conversions is doing a roaring trade despite his business's tortuous pun-based slogan, LPG me if you can, I'm feeling down.
Yeah, well, obviously the slogan drives most people away, but fortunately the world energy crisis has forced many to overcome their hatred of puns.
So how long does it take?
Oh, about 10, 12 minutes.
That's very fast.
Yeah, well, most of that is spent cutting through the floor of the vehicle. As you can see, your car is nearly converted.
Yes, now I see you're basically removing a large rectangular section from the chassis.
Yeah, that's right.
But shouldn't it really be in the boot of the car?
The boot? Oh, don't be stupid. This is where you want it, directly in front of the driver's seat.
So you install the gas tank directly in front of the driver?
Gas tank? No, we just make the hole.
But where does the gas go?
What gas?
The liquid petroleum gas.
Liquid petroleum? It's petroleum we're short of. That kind of defeats the purpose.
Yeah, but that's what LPG is.
You're taking the piss, aren't you?
Well, what do you think it stands for?
Leg power generation.
Leg power?
Yeah, well, it's the movement of your legs that generates the power, so obviously...
Hang on, so you put your legs through the hole and...
Yeah, it's basically running on the spot, except because the car's on wheels, it moves forward.
Like the Flintstones.
Now you're with me.
So for $2,000, you've turned this new Camry into essentially a Fred Flintstone mobile.
It's $2,500 for the standard Flintstone conversion.
This is outrageous. You've basically vandalised
Hang on, wait till you've tried it.
No, I'm not putting...
just put your feet through. There you go. Now, give it a whirl.
What do I do?
Just move your feet a bit.
Okay.
Whoa! That's it. Now go on, take it for a bit of a spin.
Okay, here we go. This is fantastic!
Careful on the turns or you'll stall it.
So this is Australia's solution to the problem of peak oil. And it seems cash-strapped motorists everywhere are queuing up for this page right out of history. For the smoothest, most economical ride around, get behind the wheel and put your feet through the floor of the award-winning Mercedes-Benz Dino. With Yabba Dabba dual airbags, you'll have a gay old time.
And live from Bathurst, it's the final round of the V8 Supercars, and bang! It seems Mark Skaith has blown a sand shoe, and that is a 3, 4, 5 car pile-up. Oh my God, feet in the air!
Vin Diesel puts his foot to the floor in the Fast and the Furious. Bedrock Drift.
Does the prosecuting counsel have any further evidence? Your Honour, this is the speed camera footage I was talking about. As you can see, those are the plaintiff's footprints behind the vehicle as it skids into oncoming traffic.
And here we have a scene from the upcoming remake of The French Connection.
Police emergency, I need your car.
Let's get up a mountain. And what did Ed come up with for today? Awesome pranks, Ryan. That's what I said. What's today's talkback? He goes, awesome pranks.
If we were on an AM station, it would probably be called Good Tricks You Play on Your Friends. But on an FM station, it's awesome pranks.
But on an AM station to be pranks that go too far. What do you think? Call us up, do my job. Paris Hilton's album, I'm suggesting that is a prank.
Why? It's not going so well?
It's sold 1,914 copies in Australia.
That's a lot.
It's the new horror of 1914, is what it is. But she's not stopping there.
Oh, why would she?
She's curating, that's right, curating a cartoon series about her life.
What does that mean?
It's better have Temple Block in it. Yeah. It better be, I'll just pop down the shops to buy yet another phone. There you go.
Hang on. She's gone. What's it going to be about?
I don't know, but she's working with Spider-Man creator Stan Lee.
What?
He just any attention from a young lady. He'd be quite happy with that.
Stan's got the lolly bag going.
Whatever. He's got the Flavio bag out.
Flavio bags. We should give away Flavio bags on air.
Flavio lolly bags for every caller.
See, when you said lolly bag, I sort of, in my head, I had Stanley pictured in a car next to a playground where Paris Hilton was playing. Do you want some lollies, Miss Hilton?
Sicko unsung hero, Ryan Shelton.
What you said.
If people aren't sure what we're talking about, the new weekly has the elderly lover of several supermodels, Flavio, and his his gnarly plum hammock, I'll call it.
I had a prank. We were choosing sport in high school, and then my friend Steve, I got to the sheet after he did, and he put down soccer, and I crossed his name out and put fishing. So for a whole year, he had to go to fishing every Wednesday.
Is fishing a subject, is it?
Yep, at my school.
Fishing.
That's a great subject.
How do you... Fishing is a subject.
Yeah, you just have to sit on the dock and fish.
Wow.
That's for the kids that couldn't even get into table tennis.
That's what I'm
Table tennis is a subject.
That's why it was
Designing a website is a subject.
Oh, that's
See, in my day, there was English, science, and chimney sweeping. That was all you could choose from. That was it.
Sweet prank time?
Sweet prank, well, I've mentioned... I'm not a big one on the pranks, but we did once, fill Michael Veitch's car with bananas. The guy completely with bananas, thinking that he would, get into it at about 9 o'clock in the morning. No, waited for the entire day, the hottest day of the year, to finish, and just climbed into a car full of brown sludge.
It couldn't be done today in the world of expensive bananas that we live in.
Bananas and a car. That's just it's illegal now.
What about you, Rai?
Oh, well, I'm good friends with Sir X and Sir Y.
Ah, yes.
On X and Y radio station. and I was once in at the station, and I was using the photocopier for a reason, just on a weekend. And I happened to lift the lid, or thought I lifted the lid, and the whole top of the photocopier fell back and,
broke?
Kind of broke. Not my fault. It was a bad photocopier, faulty. Anyway, I was a bit worried, crapping myself. Decided maybe not to mention it to anyone, just thought it could just go by. A few weeks later, got a call from the programming director in Sydney saying, look, mate, we know it's you. It's going to cost about $15,000 to get fixed. I know you probably don't have that money on you. Can you come and be involved in a new radio campaign? You do some free work, do some extra work. All we need you to do is walk through the city naked as part of this new all you need on is X and Y station. And
so what was the prank?
Well, it was fake. the phone call was the prank.
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm kidding.
Fake.
I'm kidding because they probably would have done it.
See, I went with that.
Yeah, so I was like,
I'd buy anything.
No, he was in on the prank.
Good. That's good.
Yeah, it was pretty embarrassing.
That's good. Hello, Mick.
G'day, how are you?
Excellent. Your awesome prank.
Oh, well, when I was a kid, my mum once told me to go play with the traffic, so I did. I went and got a torch, a bit of cable, and stood next to a blue car with a toasty hat on. Made like I was a speed gun operator.
A fake speed gun operator?
Yeah, I got the bird, got people hitting the brakes hard. It was great fun.
Is that illegal, do you think?
Nah.
Probably, but I was only about 7 at the time.
7-year-old. Oh, that 7-year-old cop's just stung me.
I'm sure if you explain it to the police that it was just an awesome prank, that's fine.
Give you a high five.
This is Angus Sampson, our co-host this morning.
I went to a Big Brother eviction show.
All right.
I went with Dylan Lewis.
Yes.
And his lovely wife, Holly, and a couple of friends from school. And we went and had a house tour.
Oh, how's that?
Because you don't get to see enough of it on TV. You really want to have a look close up.
I just wanted to see who provides that furniture that looks so sturdy in the house. But we were walking through and they make you wear a cloak. Because the housemates look at themselves so much.
They do.
If they see a bright colour through the mirror, they'll know that someone's watching.
They are easily distracted by bright objects.
It is it's minor birds.
Yeah. Well, they don't want anyone watching.
Yeah. So we went on a tour, and they said, "You got to be very quiet." And you go into a compound, and they give you a tour. And
don't feed them.
It was exactly like...
If one of them tries to read poetry to you, just keep walking.
Speaking of, I ended up looking through. They had them locked into the bedroom, and I looked through the mirror. They said, "Oh, you can have a look here." And I looked through the mirror, and the winner was about 2 inches from my face doing his hair. I kid you not, looking straight at me
and busting out a
I
pole.
Froze. But I think he wears makeup.
Yeah,
really?
Of course he does.
I was very close, but the thing was, I kid you not, it's so pitch black. It's amazing. I don't know why they don't show the inner workings of it. You know who I bumped into on the house tour?
Ernie Sigley.
Mark Scaife.
Oh yeah.
Whoa.
And his phone went off. Mark Scaife's mobile phone started ringing in the house.
And what was the ringtone?
It was Vibrate. It was like a...
Wasn't Murray Walker. Straight through the chicane!
Now, speaking of reality TV, I met a reality TV type out and about one time. And I said, "What are you doing now?" And they said, "Oh, I've got a newspaper column." And I said, "Oh, as a joke, who writes it for you?" And they said, "Oh, this woman, I don't really know her name." And I said, "What?" She went, yeah, I don't really know her name. I just sort of write a couple of things in dot point. They turn it into an article. And then I said, as a joke, "Why don't you get someone to write a novel for you as well?" And they replied, "My agent's looking into it. It's coming out next year."
Who is this?
I can't.
They've got an agent. I don't have an agent. We had Tom Gleisner in here the other day. His wife's phone was stolen. And then he does a thing of, calling it to see if it goes off. That's when you need a ringtone. Or maybe
distinctive ringtone.
Yeah, distinctive one. Or maybe one you can trigger with a certain number where the ringtone is just, "Help! I've been stolen! I'm a stolen phone! Help!" Just have that. Could you set that off? Crispin.
Crispin Glover?
I hope it's Crispin Glover. I'd like to think it is Crispin Glover. I'd love to be under this, man. It's a fine line between Dennis Hopper and Crispin Glover.
It is.
He says, "Tony, your glasses need updating." See, I'm holding out with the round glasses because everyone's gone over to the small little rectangular glasses, and I don't want to look like, who's that bloke who wrote Lantana? Andrew Bovell.
Yeah.
I don't want to look like that. I don't want to look like I'm in advertising.
Yeah, you don't want to look like you drive a scooter with a suit and those glasses on your
emo.
Yeah, a little bit emo on your way to like Brick House Innovations. You say, "What do? We're an innovations company." What does that mean? Not much.
Brick House after the Commodores song.
Well, if you like.
Well, see, I'm not going down that path. I'm holding out till the round glasses come back because the rectangulars, it's a phase that the young people are going through, like the metric system.
You've been in round glasses for how long?
Years, since the late 80s.
Since Lennon?
No, I'm not that old.
Crispin, I can tell you that Tony has updated his round glasses. They are round, but now he has a hologram. Of a skull and crossbones on the actual lens.
How did we get here?
Doesn't
That's not
look
an important
good.
issue. We should be talking about important issues out there in the real world. What about this bloke who, confessed to killing JonBenet Ramsey?
Oh, yeah.
Turns out was just after a free plane trip and some nice champagne.
What has it been proven that he did?
DNA. It wasn't him. Not guilty. Clearly just needed a plane trip home. Wouldn't mind going first.
He actually reminds me of the caricature that they have on the Ask Jeeves website of Jeeves.
No, I think
on the
it's
internet.
the lead singer of the Pet Shop Boys. I think is the
Wow.
lookalike you're looking for.
Neil Tennant.
Neil Tennant. That's him.
That's
Sorry.
a new one?
I do like the lookalikes.
You do like a lookalike. You
I
love
do.
a lookalike.
What's your best and worst lookalike?
It's all pedophiles, alleged pedophiles, so it's disturbing. I'm sorry, that bloke with the girl in the house killed himself. Cillian Murphy.
Yeah,
have a look.
that's-
It's a good
Oh,
lookalike.
wow.
It's a bit
But
close.
I was actually thinking your best and worst of yourself.
Oh, actually, yeah, I got one.
Sam and Tone do this thing where it's where people say to you, "What's the best you look like?"
Yeah, well, I get the older Harry Potter, Warwick
Yeah,
Fairfax, the Computers for Dummies logo guy, the Wally guy. There's so many for
Computers
me.
for Dummies.
Is that your best or the worst?
I get James Valentine. There's so many.
Computers for
James
Dummies. That's
Valentine.
great.
Absent friends.
Well, I was getting a haircut the other day,
Yeah.
and the lady described my complexion as corpse in a river. But then she was cutting my hair, and she said, I've been trying to figure out what you look like. And I thought, who? She goes, no, what? And I said, all right, what have you got? And she goes, a cartoon character. That's what you look like. And then another girl who was cutting hair next to her got her back turned to us, throws down her scissors and goes, yes, he's got it. A cartoon character.
Foghorn Leghorn.
And I said, which one? She goes, it doesn't matter. Your big face and your big nose. Are you serious?
This,
bugging me.
What kind of hairdressers is this? You're a corpse in a river. You've got a big nose. You're a cartoon character.
Yeah.
At least they didn't say you're Millsy.
Oh, I get that a lot.
Yeah,
I get Millsy all the time.
Just remember, it could be worse. Mick Malloy, Richard Clapton, everywhere he goes.
Girls on the Avenue.
Although if you say that to Mick, he goes, "Oh, mate, it's only after a big night on the tiles. It's not like the normal me."
I did used to get one, Phil Waugh, the rugby wallaby, when he had longer hair, and I was like, "What? He looks like Eddie Munster, or Uncle Fester."
Hey, here's someone who really nobody looks or sounds like.
You are dealing with Dickinson.
There he is, the host of Dealing with Dickinson on Foxtel. Antique valuing bloke. Now, a lot of people who don't have Foxtel have been calling in going, well, we love hearing the clips, but we don't know what he looks like. He was on the ABC last night.
He was.
On Rolf Harris's show, where Rolf Harris gets 3 young kiddies with painting skills to do a portrait of somebody. Out comes David Dickinson. And interestingly, wasn't in his barking, aggressive mode from his own show.
What was he like?
He was Mr. Friendly.
Softer side.
Because he was being painted. But although he may have turned at one point.
Shall we listen?
Here's a clip of him meeting the artists. And so the artists don't know who it is they're going to be painting. Have a listen. Okay.
Step this way, kind sir. Here's, of course, Antique Supremo David Dickinson. Binny.
Hello, Binny. Nice to meet you.
Andy.
Hello, Andy. Nice to meet you.
And Rebecca.
Hello, Rebecca. Nice to meet you.
Have you been painted before?
Never before, Rolf. But I mean, it's such an exciting prospect that... and 3 at once.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, you were going to ask about some colour.
Well, we're just, I'm just trying to sort of take in the blue, a bit of a blue situation, isn't there? And got any other ties?
Any other ties? This is one of my favourites.
I know, but...
So you're saying now you're qualified to tell me?
No.
Because you're doing the talking.
No.
Excuse me, just 1 second. This is one of my favourite Italian ties.
No, David.
I'm going to say this from now on. No more prisoners, no more nice talk. From now on, you are dealing with Dickinson. No bull.
There might have been a slight bit of editing there.
He's turned on them, hasn't he? he's taken the trouble to go and get a synthesizer and play some heavy music under himself.
Maddie in production wasn't happy about that. Oh, how am I going to match the synthesizer?
I just had visions that he was going to come out like with a flag of Britain painted on his body. It's like Girls of the Grand Prix. David Dickinson.
Maybe wearing the Flavio bag. Oh. David Dickinson. He's having a look at the paintings of himself. He's moved. Have a listen to his reaction.
OK, artists, if you'll stand by your paintings.
Hello.
You remember this fella, do you?
I think all are exceptional and so individual and so different and so wonderful. I mean, this picture here, there's so much of me in there, and the eyes in there, and the hands, and the lazy look in the eyes. That's very, very me, and it's a wonderful picture.
So you've done your homework? Because we're doing our
Now, I mean, to even hear a young lady asking me if I'd done her homework, when really you don't know your back front from your front.
No,
I am not happy. I think I've had enough, quite frankly. You're taking the out of me. You are taking the out of me. I'm not a big brother.
You've done very well with what you bought. You've done.
So I've got my 25 years experience right, have I? And I've done my bloody homework, have I?
No, David.
I'm going to say this from now on.
No more prisoners, no more nice talk. From now on, you are dealing with Dickinson. No bull.
A slight amount of editing may have occurred there.
So you can't hardly notice it.
Get this. Weekday mornings from 9 on Triple M.